Wild speculation is in order.
You want to set this up or just play it?
Go ahead. Yeah, just play it.
Bubbles caused by a mega underwater gas leak. Filmed by the Danish military, the gas is escaping from 3 points on Russia's Nord Stream pipelines. The mysterious damage seemingly happening just hours apart. The result of a freak coincidence? The Polish Prime Minister doesn't think so.
Dziś mamy też do czynienia.
So that lets us know at least what happened. Yeah, last week there was looks like just an accident. Probably somebody fishing, maybe their fishing line, like the hook. I think that's probably what happened. The hook caught on the pipeline, and and it just popped it.
My guess is the sharks attacked it because they know that we're killing their environment.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the sharks have become radicalized.
Yeah.
They don't like the portrayal in U.S. media of sharks. Jaws, Sharknado, other stuff, and the sharks have gone woke. Somebody has sabotaged the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. There are like 2 pipelines for each Nord Stream. So Nord Stream 1 has 2 pipelines, Nord Stream 2 has 2 pipelines. And both of the Nord Stream 1 pipelines have been damaged, and one, maybe the other Nord Stream 2 pipeline has been damaged. There was another leak that they just found, I guess, a couple days after. And I think maybe they're not sure if it's the other pipeline or if it's just another spot in the first Nord Stream 2 pipeline. But yeah, this is the pipeline that transports natural gas from Russia to the heart of Europe. This has already been the subject of some controversy. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline had been moving natural gas for some time. The Nord Stream 2 had just got up, or it was almost fully up and running. And of course, the Ukraine invasion happened, and now all that kind of got thrown out the window. I think Russia had canceled their plans to finish it like 2 days before the invasion, and Europe is attempting to transition away from using Russian gas.
Yeah, Nord Stream 2 wasn't running. Nord Stream 1 was finished, but it wasn't moving gas because it was under sanctions.
But there was a lot of gas, obviously, in the pipeline. So that's what we're seeing come out right now.
The West was blaming Russia for the attack.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was about 500 million cubic meters of gas lost so far. Incidentally, apparently this is not the ecological disaster that I guess an oil pipeline would be, being that it's gas. I'm sure all the fish in that vicinity are going to die, but it's not going to like screw up that entire region like the Gulf did with the BP spill in the Gulf of Mexico some years ago. But it is a lot of carbon dioxide. It's the equivalent of about 8 million tons of carbon dioxide are going to be released into the atmosphere as a result of this.
It's not good.
Yeah, the seismologists are estimating that the explosion had the magnitude of about 100 kilograms of TNT in both incidents. So I guess each one was about 100 kilograms. But
tell us who did it, Tony. Get to the good stuff here.
Well, that's what we're going to have to figure out, as I am not sure. This is it's really ripe for speculation, right? It could be a non-state actor. We could have some...
Like who?
I don't know. Non-state actor.
I guess.
I don't know. Maybe some pissed off Chechens, or
BP could have done it to try to
this is right off of Denmark, and there are a lot of excellent psychedelics made in that area. So it could be some psychedelic warriors that are fighting back against climate change and just got all hyped up from one of those LSD and MDMA labs right there. And shout out to those MDMA labs. Got all hyped up and wanted to go out there and manifest the change they wanted to see in the world.
Yeah, it could be some really, really dumb eco-terrorists.
Could be, really. I don't know. I haven't read much into the speculation. I mean, I know it's kind of abound right now. Russia's blaming either the U.S. or Europe. People saying that it could have been Russia, possibly Ukraine.
Does Ukraine have subs? Maybe they do. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think you would need a sub. People were saying that this could be, munitions dropped from a boat. It could be munitions dropped even from a plane.
I don't think so, dude.
Well, you like a depth charge, right?
Yeah, but people would notice. Why would Ukraine? No, that's not going to affect Russia, really. It'll affect their pocketbook down the line. It has to be the West, dude. It has to be the United States. This is shit that we do, dude. This is fucking capitalist terrorism. Why Russia obviously couldn't have done this. Russia, there's no way. This makes no sense unless Russia was going to drop nukes the day after. That doesn't make any sense.
Is it not conceivable that Russia would do this as a false flag?
For what, though? Yes, but for what?
To rally support from the people in Russia that are already really upset about this partial mobilization. You've got people going into recruitment centers and shooting people. You have to galvanize the great Ruski people against the Western aggressors that are supporting those Nazis in Ukraine and now bombing our pipelines and wreaking all sorts of havoc.
It just doesn't make sense. That's not how you garner public support. You garner public support by orchestrating a false flag on civilians, Russian civilians, not on a state property that they don't care about. They're probably happy that it fucking isn't going to destroy the environment even worse down the line sometime. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not a logical false flag from that point of view. It could have been. I hadn't even considered Ukraine as an option, but I guess they could have done it. Or Ukraine with Western support, maybe, or like German support.
I'm under the assumption that probably in not too long, we're going to figure out who this was or have a very good idea of who it was.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I don't know. That's pure speculation. I can't imagine that we don't figure out who did it or have a pretty good idea of who did it in relatively short order. If Ukraine did this, it has in my mind, the complete opposite effect of what they're fighting the war on right now, which is the support of the world. If it come out that they're committing these, essentially acts of terrorism on what was Dutch territorial waters, like they're losing all support from Europe. They're going to lose a lot of support from the U.S. Their cause, the international cause that they've cobbled together, just kind of falls apart, falls flat on its face at that point.
You have to realize Ukraine is not doing anything right now without the full support of NATO. They're not doing anything right now that the U.S. doesn't know about. We're funding their entire defense right now. They're not doing this shit. They're not bombing the Putin's best friend's daughter's car that just happened a couple weeks ago. They're not doing that without our help and knowledge. The attacks on the Russian ammo depots are done with U.S. intelligence telling them where the shit is. They don't have the capabilities without us helping them to do any of this shit. So that scenario that you're talking about isn't going to happen because they're not doing this type of shit without us helping them and knowing about it. And I'm sure Zelensky's asking before he would even attempt anything like this. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So for the military targets that they're going after in Ukraine, obviously they're using U.S. intelligence. They're using our drones and spy satellite reconnaissance to locate all this stuff. I'm assuming that these pipelines, I imagine that everybody knows where they are.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need to have any state intelligence to be able to figure out where to go to plant bombs on them. But yeah, then a question comes about. You have to have some sort of boat to get out there if that's how it was done. If it was, it would be somebody would have picked it up. I mean, there's radar monitoring. It's a major seaway. All the nations around there, the Scandinavian countries, Germany, everybody's going to have radar. They're going to be monitoring that strait and seeing who goes through there. And, even if you didn't have like a transponder on your ship, somebody's going to pick it up. Somebody's going to see something. So my mom, she astutely pointed out something she had seen sometime back on Facebook that I believe is going to answer this question we have.
According to Wikipedia here, Ukraine has 27 combat ships total. Combat ships and cutters that were former Soviet ships. And they've received 5 small Willard Marine Patrol boats since then. So that's their Navy. A bunch of old-ass Soviet ships.
You wouldn't even need it. I don't think you'd even need a combat ship. I mean, you could get just a whaler or something. I don't know, some big fishing vessel, right? Like they would have the technology to be able to scan the seafloor.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like a crab boat, the Bering Sea crab fishermen dudes. They got the ability to scan, roughly where it's at. You scan the seafloor. You say, okay, this is where the pipeline is. You got a crane just to drop your depth charge off the back. And yeah, I guess just the ease with which it could be done. I mean, it really does kind of open it up for anybody. I mean, it could be a major state actor.
99% is the U.S., dude. We might find out about it in like 50 years when it's declassified and it's 120 degrees in Kentucky.
Okay, all right. Well, here we're gonna watch a little clip real quick.
If Russia invades, that means tanks and troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
Ooh.
Hold on, play that again. I haven't heard this.
Ooh.
What is this from? Do you know?
I don't know. We'll find out.
That means tanks and troops crossing the
I guess this was just prior to the invasion.
again. Then there will be no longer Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
But how will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it. If Russia invades.
Yeah, I promise you. I guess, did you hear it all?
Of course. I mean, it has to be the U.S., right? That's pretty clear.
I don't know, man. That seems really brazen. I would be incredibly surprised if the U.S. did that. What are they accomplishing by blowing up the pipeline that they haven't either already accomplished through diplomacy with the European nations or couldn't potentially accomplish through diplomacy with the European nations? They're
destroying all the natural gas that's in the pipeline. Because Russia turned it off, I'm sure, on their end, but there's still hundreds of thousands of tons. I don't know how much is in there, but it's just a fuck you to Putin. It's just more capitalist sabotage and warfare. This is their strategy. This is modern warfare. This is how the U.S. operates now. They impoverish their enemies.
Yeah, so it's a total of 500 million cubic meters of gas was lost.
Sounds like a lot. I don't know, but it sounds like a lot. Our kids are fucked.
But unless the U.S. made damn sure that nobody finds out about it. I mean, which I guess we've got the capability to if anybody has the capability to do that in complete secrecy, it would be the U.S.
Well, it's not really a secret. I mean, everybody kind of knows it was us, don't they? It's not.
I really don't know. My initial thought to that to the idea that the U.S. did it was like, surely not. Surely we didn't do that, because if it come out, if it absolutely, like, we know they find the
how would anybody ever know?
Somebody seen the ship. Somebody has some concrete proof. Their military technology picked up this particular make of ship and followed it back to X place where they could verify that it was the U.S.
The U.S. doesn't have like one or two ships out there. We have hundreds of ships all over the world at all times, and every part of the U.S. Navy is gigantic, and it's fucking everywhere. We have aircraft carriers off the coast of every country, basically. We have naval bases in every NATO country, multiple NATO bases in every NATO country.
It sounds like you might know something about this. I know you were in the Navy.
They do keep me updated.
What were you all doing?
Yeah, the Harry S. Truman is out there right now.
And to be fair, like it could have been a plane, it could have been a missile dropped from very high altitude. Either, I guess it could have been fired, or it could have just been.
I don't think you could drop it from an aircraft. It would explode on impact with the water.
They've got shit worked out. They could.
Yeah, you're probably right. They probably shot it with a fucking laser beam from the moon, most likely.
They're under the goddamn